Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be the first look using the Vice 3 palette. I just showed you this in my haul. If you're new to my palette reviews, I usually do about 3 to 4 face of the days just so that you can get a feel for the eyeshadow looks that you can create using the palette, to see if you're interested in the palette or if you just are in need of some inspiration. I like to do these kind of videos just to show you how I would combine all the eyeshadows in the palette. So today's going to be the first look. I did want to mention all of the products that I'm going to be using throughout the entire week, just so that I don't have to repeat myself. So I am using the Naked Skin Foundation 4.0. I didn't set that. There's like a chihuahua outside my window. I didn't set the foundation. I just wanted it to be kind of glowy, so that's beautiful. I'm also using this highlighter today, which is the, well, I'm going to be using it throughout the week, the Mary Luminizer by The Balm, which is beautiful, which I'm probably sure you've seen. And I'm also using a new concealer this week. This is the Time Balm by The Balm. So that's what's going to be on my face consistently throughout the week. So today's look, I want to say it was inspired by Arabic makeup. I always look at their, when I look at Arabic makeup, I always think, I don't know, those reds and golds and those teals, just really beautiful. So I don't know if that's what this looks like, but you know. But the first shade that my eyeballs were drawn to was this shade right here, and it's called Alchemy, and it is so beautiful. So I have that all over the lid. I put a little bit of Last Sin, which is kind of like a champagne-y color, right on the inner corner. And then I blended out the Alchemy shade with this color called Alien. That is just buffed out all the way almost up to the brow bone. And I started to darken up the crease with Rain, which is that chocolatey brownish gold right there. And on top of that brown, I blended some of this gold shade called Lucky. So Lucky is blended right on top of that brown shade. And then to add a highlight to my brow bone, I used this shade, which is called Truth. I think that's all these shades that I use. Yes, it is. So I'm just going to zoom you in so that you can see the look. So on my cheeks, I am wearing one of the blushes from the Tarte Pinup Girl palette, blush palette. I am wearing this shade right here, the darkest, not the darkest, but the lightest shade actually. And it's just like a really nice natural shade. And then on my lips, I'm just wearing some of MAC's Cream Cup. On my lower lash line, I just smudged some of this L'Oreal Cycloseam eyeliner right on the waterline, and I kind of just blended it out with my finger. And I brought down some of that Alchemy shade right on the outer corners. Guys, so for today's look, I didn't do my hair. But today's look is very neutral again. Kind of wanted to do more of a cooler toned eye, but not really, because I ended up blending it out with a warm brown. But that is just force of habit. So I'm going to show you the colors that I used really quickly. So I started off the look by using this warm brown right here, and it's called Downfall. And then all over the lid, I'm wearing Angel, which is a beautiful, it's like a grayish taupe. It's really pretty. I put that all over the lid. As a highlight, I'm using Bobby Dazzle, which is that shimmering white. I use that on the inner corner and right underneath the brow bone. And then to deepen up the crease, I'm using Heroine, which is that navy shade right there. So I'm just going to zoom you in so that you can see the look. I also used a nude eyeliner, and on my waterline I'm using just the Rimmel Nude Scandal Eyes eyeliner. That's just on the waterline. I just didn't want to use a black. I thought that would be a little bit too harsh, and I wanted to keep it still kind of fresh. So that's what I did there. For lips, I mixed two lipsticks. I mixed Touch of Spice by Maybelline, which looks like that. and I mixed Nude Cream by Milani, which looks like that. For cheeks, I'm using the blush in Hollywood by Lorac, and it is a beautiful terracotta shade. So pretty, but if you apply too much, it can be a disaster. But I just have that on my cheeks, and I believe that's it for today's look. I'll see you again in tomorrow's look. So for today's look, we are in a different location, but that's okay. So for today's look, I wanted to go simple, but I wanted to use the greenish gold in the palette. So I went in with the color Broke Down, which is kind of like a golden olive color. It is absolutely gorgeous. And I also used the navy in the palette, which is Heroin, which is that beautiful color in the palette. And then I blended everything out with Downfall, which is the really pretty neutral shade over here. Underneath the brow bone, I'm using Truth, which is that, it's like a really nice pinky pinky light color. It really brightens up the underneath the eyebrow. And in the inner corner, I used a little bit of Last Sin, which is just absolutely beautiful. I kind of want to put a little bit more on because I really like it. I blended some away when I was putting on my concealer. Okay, so those are all the colors that I used, and underneath the eye I did use a little bit of this jumbo pencil by Sephora. This is called Khaki, and it is so pretty. It's just a really nice base for any kind of golden olivey eyeshadow. I always use this because it's, look at that, it's just so pretty, and it just intensifies the eyeshadow a lot. But that I just use on the bottom, and you'll see that when I zoom in. And I think that's all the colors that I used today. Yeah, that is. So I'm just going to go ahead and zoom you in so that you can see the look. So this is today's look. On my lips, I mixed two lip colors. I'm wearing Lust for Blush. Lust for Blush I put on first, which is kind of like a neutral pink shade, but I felt like it was a little bit too pink for me, so I toned it down with Daringly Nude, which obviously is a nude. So I just mixed the two, and it made like this really pretty matte pinky lip. And for blush, I'm using one of my favorites. I've showed you this a million times. This is the CoverGirl Cheekers in True Plum. And it just gives a beautiful, like, glowy pinky cheek. So that is it for today's look, and I'll see you again in tomorrow's look. So for today's look, I went back to my warm burgundies. I went right back to this row again. I just couldn't help myself. So all over the lid, I am wearing Sonic, which is this gorgeous, gorgeous coppery red. It's like a, yeah, like a warm coppery red. Beautiful. That is all over the lid. Then I went in with Bondage. No, not Bondage, I'm lying. I went back to Alchemy, and I'm using that on the crease. And then to blend out Alchemy, I used this color called, what are you called? Undone. So that is to blend out. Under the lid, under the brow bone, I have Truth. And in the inner corner, I have Lucky, which is that gold. And what else do I have? And then I also have Bobby Dazzle underneath the brow bone. So I'm just going to go ahead and zoom in so that you can see the look. Additionally, I wanted to add like a pop of sparkle somewhere, so I went in with ColourPop in Amaze, and it's just a really pretty, like a coppery champagne color. It's just stunning. So I popped that into the inner corner as well, and that just really, I don't know, it gives an extra something to the look. For liner, for my liquid liner, I'm using this Kat Von D lightning liner in the color Hex, and it is just a really like purpley color. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just really pretty. I picked this up recently, and I just think it's a little bit softer than like a black, but it still like gives that definition that you want on your upper lash line. So that is what I have there. And then I'm wearing why am I so washed out? Okay. And then in the inner waterline, I'm using Urban Decay Lucky, and this is a pencil that's discontinued, but it is in the Vice palette, the Vice 2 palette. What is this? The Vice 3 palette. Yeah, it's in the Vice 3 palette as a shadow, but it has just always been one of my favorite liners from Urban Decay, and I was really sad when they discontinued it. So that is so super cool that they have it in an eyeshadow form in the palette, I think. For blush, I'm wearing Sephora's Rose Emotion. I put on a little bit more today because I didn't think that you could see my blush from yesterday. So that is what this looks like. It's a really pretty rosy pinky blush. And for lips, I have on NARS, what is this called? Velvet Matte Lip Pencil in Bahama. And that is my lip color today. And that is it for today's look, I think. I believe so. So now I'm just going to talk about the palette in general. I'm going to zoom you out. The palette comes packaged in this box, and the box itself is really pretty. It says Urban Decay Vice. It has all these bright colors on it, and then the back it gives you all the shade colors, and it comes in this really cute makeup bag. And I just think the makeup bag is actually really nice. It's actually good quality, and it does have like the little Urban Decay on the zipper, and then you have your palette itself. The palette is a little bit thinner than the Vice 2 palette, which I do have as well. As you can see, it is just a little bit more sleek, but it is the same width as the Vice 2 palette. Now, to compare these two, I would say that the Vice 2 palette has a little bit more like glittery shades in it versus the Vice 3 palette, which I think has a little bit more, just a lot more satins, not as much glitter, more definitely still shimmery and satiny colors, but not as much glitter. And you do have more mattes, I believe, in this palette. And overall, I just think that the palette has a really good mixture of pops of color and as well as natural, more neutral shades. And I just think it's a really great everyday palette, but it just gives you a little bit more than just the everyday natural shades. It gives you kind of, you know, it lets you be a little bit more creative. It lets you add pops of color here and there, but it doesn't make your looks look over the top. I mean, you could totally go over the top with any of these shades, but it also has some good neutral shades to help you bring back the look to more of a neutral and everyday kind of look. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch them just so that you can see the range of shades that you get. And that is the first 4 shades. So those are the shades right there. Those are the next 4 shades. Really, really pretty. Gotta love those swatches, huh? That's the next 4 shades. And that's the last 4. So that is it. That is my final thoughts with the palette. I like it. I think it's a really great palette. I love the colors. I didn't expect to like the palette as much as I did. I am so happy that I got this as a gift because I know that it is pricey. But either way, I still think it's definitely worth it. You do get a really great variety of natural, I mean not natural, neutral, but still, you know, pops of color somewhere in there. So definitely get some color in your life. And if you love to play around with eyeshadows, to be creative, this is definitely going to be a palette that sparks your interest. So With that being said, I will say that the shadows sometimes are a little bit dusty, especially the matte shades. They're really, really soft. But again, if you use a lighter hand with the matte shades, you won't get as much fallout. I always do my eyeshadow before I do my makeup. Always. I rarely ever do my eye makeup after I've applied all my face products anyway, because I like to go crazy with my eyeshadows. So I just find that it's easier for me to do my eyeshadow than do my face makeup. So I don't know if that will help, but either way, you can always use your eyeshadow brush wet, which always yields the most pigment and you get less fallout. So those are my tips with that. But overall, I really like the palette, and I think that a lot of you would like it too. It would make a great gift. It was a gift to me and I absolutely love it. So with that being said, I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you guys liked this video, and if you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. That always helps me out. And if you aren't subscribed, please do so and join us. I'd love to have you. And with that, I think that's all that I have to say. I hope that you guys are having a great day, and I'll catch you guys later.